I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee, April 23rd, 2026. Madam Chair, would you please? I do that all the time because I think you're the chair. Madam Secretary, would you please roll?
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. Starting with Director Devlin.
Here.
Garbarino.
Here.
Moulton Peters.
Here.
Parr.
Yes.
Pierre is absent. Vice Chair Hardiman is absent. Chair Hernandez is absent. President Hill.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum. You're not a committee of the whole. We also have in the room Directors Giudice, Maston, and Rodoni.
Now, shall we make them a committee of a whole?
Well, we can't make them a committee of the whole, but we can invite them to.
Let's invite them to be on the committee.
Okay.
It's my pleasure. You need to invite anyone that's willing to get up and be here. All right, then. Item number 1, to authorize setting of a public hearing to receive public comment relative to Assembly Bill 2561, status of job vacancies. Kelly Hopper.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is, as you recall, last year we came forward that the state had passed Senate Bill 2561, which required special districts to do certain things as it relates to staff vacancies. So we're asking that the board approve setting a public hearing for May the 22nd at 11 a.m. But also furthermore that the board approve an action that allows the general manager moving forward every year to set a public hearing in compliance with this regulation. Just as a reminder for those who weren't here last year, there's a couple things that we'll be bringing forward at the public hearing. We'll be bringing our status of our vacancies, what we're doing in terms of recruitment if we're having issues in any of these classifications, as well as presenting how many vacancies we have by classification, which will be happening prior to the adoption of the final budget. And then finally, there is a clause that allows employee organizations or bargaining units to come forward and make a presentation to this board if they so choose about the various public hearings. So we will have numbers of vacancies, where we stand on the status. It's a really important time this year because it'll be prior to the budget, so we can explain to you any variances that are going to be taking place during the budgetary process, recommendations at that time. So I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions for Kelly? It's too easy. I think we need to have a motion on. Is there public comment? The public comment on this one?
We have no public comment.
All right. In that case, we need a motion to set the public hearing. Director Hill.
Second.
Director Devlin. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, the motion passes. Do we need a vote?
We do.
Oh. Oh,
We do.
we used to chair rules. I should know that. All right. Would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Voting on item number 3 with the first and second, starting with Director Devlin.
Aye.
Garbarino.
Aye.
Moulton Peters.
Yes.
Parr.
Yes.
Pierre is absent. Vice Chair Hardiman is absent. Chair Hernandez is absent. President Hill.
Here.
And our guest directors are real. We have also Giudice,
Yes.
Maston,
Aye.
and Rodoni.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
All right. Thank you. And I understand that, Kelly, you're the next one, too. And that is item number 4, to authorize execution of the First Amendment to contract number 2020-D50, HRA, FSA, and retiree premium payment benefit administration services with Navia Benefit Solutions.
Thank you. As you know, we have a health reimbursement account as well as a program that allows our retirees to manage their premium accounts. It's governed by a debit card program for our employees, for ease of employees, so that allows them to handle their health, HRA, FSA, and retiree benefit components. It's quite complex, as you can imagine. We have our benefit programs are quite complex, so we needed a vendor who could manage the individual purses, and that was Navia. For about the past 5 years, they've been our service provider in this space. The contract was coming to a close, and so our broker helped us go back out to market and look at various vendors. We had 3 vendors that applied or that submitted offers, and we had demonstrations by the top 2. Of the top 2, again, Navia has come out as being the one that is in the best interest of the district and that can meet the needs that we have with our various complexities of our administration of our benefits. So we're asking that the First Amendment be approved. That would go through to the end of December 2030 at the same rate that we had the last time, which is $459,000 for the term of.
All right, are there any questions? Any comments? Do any of you use Navia? No one goes to the doctor? Navia and I are best friends. Nobody knows that. They go, that'll be $15, and I go, there you go. Navia, so done. You know, Navia can do that. All right. Is there any public comment?
We have no speakers for this item.
No speakers. Okay. In that case, I do need a motion to accept this contract.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Voting on item number 4 with the first and second, starting with Director Devlin.
Aye.
Garbarino.
Aye.
Moulton Peters.
Yes.
Parr.
Yes.
President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Spear, Vice Chair Hardiman, and Chair Hernandez are all absent. And then we're going to Director Giudice,
Yes.
Maston,
Aye.
and Rodoni.
Yes.
Thank you. That's unanimous with all present.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, item number 5, approve actions related to implementation of Senate Bill 707, Durazo, open meeting and teleconference requirements. And I believe this is Summerette.
It is. This is a one long time in the making. It was approved and signed into law by Governor Newsom back in October. And Senate Bill 707 made a lot of changes and minor things here and there to open meeting requirements that normally are applicable to us by the Brown Act. Some were effective January 1st and some are effective July 1st. So we've been working on them in pieces. Some of the ones that were applicable to the district we were already doing, so we weren't going to have to make very many changes. Some small changes here and there and continue to be made in anticipation of July 1st implementation date. But little things that we've done here and there are things like making it easier to see where the meeting information is on our landing page of our website. So there are certain requirements for this Senate bill that made it easier for people to participate in meetings. One of the things that's kind of, if I step back a little bit more, this was like 6 years in the making because there was a lot of Brown Act bills that came through during pandemic. And a lot of them would just kind of die along the way because they were making too many broad changes that people didn't like. Either cities didn't like, special districts didn't like, and so they didn't make it. This Senate Bill 707 is a roll-up of a lot of those pieces. So that's why there's so many little things that we've been tracking on the Senate bill to try and make sure that we're compliant with everything. It would require us to have changed our remote access requirements, translation requirements, meeting web page requirements, like I just mentioned, outreach requirement. There was a potential outreach policy we would have had to adopt, but then we figured out how we didn't have to go that extreme. There's also alternative teleconferencing requirements that were required. There was just a whole lot of small little details. And then we figured out if we broke it up into pieces, figured out what we had to do immediately versus the stuff we had to do in July 1st. So one of the things on July 1st that's going to change is the cameras will be on. So we will possibly maybe testing it before it happens, but as effective July 1st, the cameras will be on. So that's one of the bigger things for this group to understand. But also the closed captioning will also have to be on as well as part of that. So there's little things here and there that we'll be tweaking between now and July 1st. So, but specific to this item, what we're asking for today, the first one is that we need to change a little bit of our rules of the board and adopt a policy on disruption. So the policy on disruptions is if there's a internet disconnection or something where the public were to lose a connection to our board meeting, that we would do everything in our power to get it back on, but we would have to stop the meeting and recess. It's kind of similar to what we do already, but we had to adopt a policy on what we would do and then make it known what we would do step by step. Then the second piece of this is an amendment to also the board to talk about how we're expanding our outreach. We already do outreach, but instead what we're saying is we are going to do what we need to do to invite groups outside of those that we normally communicate with to participate in board meetings. So this will be done through social media outreach because that's the way we tend to now reach everyone out there. And then the third part of this is to approve a remote meeting for District Citizens Advisory Committee. Currently, we have 4 advisory committees, and it's actually really challenging for all 4 of them to physically get together. So oftentimes you'll see in transportation that some of our passenger advisory committees have canceled meetings. What this will allow them to do is to allow them to meet remotely. And now this third one is one that you're going to see recurring because every 6 months, this board has to adopt a resolution to allow for that to continue. So we'll put it under consent so that it will be just something that we do. But besides that, the actual advisory committees will have to adopt they'll have to make a motion to allow having these remote meetings as well. So there's 2 layers to this. There's 2 layers to this motion. Those are the 3, and that was kind of like a summary of everything that we're working on. But rest assured, we've been working with Hanson Bridget. Isaac Shapiro has been really helpful. He and I have been going back and forth. Well, I think, I interpret it this way. Well, I interpret it that way. And we've been going back and forth on that because it's not very clear. When it's not very clear, we literally take it word for word. So I am respectfully asking for your approval on the recommendation.
So moved. Second. Are there any questions for him, Brett? Jim?
I think these are past due changes, and I look forward to them. However, my question really has to do with I felt bad for Monique having to fight the traffic and then 10 or 15 minutes give her thing and turn around and leave again. And I'm wondering if it's possible for at least off-site, presenters to be able to do it via Zoom or whatever, as opposed to having to come from far and wide to give us their pitch.
I'm sure that's something we can look into, but I think in the past this board has liked to see them come.
Yeah.
They
in person,
in person, yes. And for the longest time, the person who was coming from, I know she's coming from another area where she has to cross a bridge. Anybody who has to cross a bridge, there's a lot of variables that come into play. Even our own bridge, as you know.
Yeah.
So if that happens, then we would allow for that to happen. I would say, because now we have the flexibility to.
Okay, good. Yeah, I hope we consider that. Thank you.
Of course, we wouldn't want her to do that while she's driving.
No.
Although it sounds like she had it memorized, she probably could. She's thought about it more than just a second. All right, any other comments or questions? And is there any public comment on this one? Okay, we do need a motion. Oh, we have a motion.
We have a motion.
Second. So I'm ready for the vote.
All right, great, thank you. This is item number 5 with first and second, starting with Director Devlin.
Aye.
Garbarina.
Aye.
Moulton Peters.
Yes.
Parr.
Yes.
President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. And Director Spear, Vice Chair Hardeman, and Chair Hernandez are absent, so we're going to go to adding on Director Giudice.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
And Rodoni.
Aye.
Thank you. That's a unanimous vote present.
All right, thank you. Is there any additional public comment on anything?
No speakers for this committee.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Vote. Thank you. All right, thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all for coming.